Hi everybody. I just thought I'd take advantage of a perfect evening here. I'm down under the Batman Bridge over the Tamar River. So a beautiful setting, just late afternoon. And I've had a couple of questions in respect to gear and if I can do a couple of explanations. So I thought what I'd do is I'd lay out some of my older stuff and what I'm currently shooting with as well, and give you a run through essentially on the differences between them. So, where we start off here is this is the 7D from Canon, and this was released in 2009, and it's what's called an APS-C camera. That is, it has a crop sensor, a smaller sensor than the standard full frame. So the crop sensor multiplies by 1.6, and what that means is that when you put a 100mm lens on, it gives you an effective focal length of 160. Now this is the category that most cameras under $1,500 would fall into. They're called APS-C. It's a crop sensor. They're still very good. You can still do wonderful work with these cameras. And of course, compared to this old model here, which is now 16 years old, the cameras you are buying under $1,500 now are technically far superior. So this was 18 megapixel and 8 frames per second. And in its day, this one sold for $2,400 plus lens. And then from there, I went to a 5DS. Now, a 5DS is what's called a full frame camera. Full frame being that the sensor is the bigger than a crop sensor, and being a full frame, of course, the clue there is that you're getting a 1-to-1 ratio. So your focal length at 100 mil lens is 100. So, and you're getting a full read of the sensor. Now, this particular one, the 5DS, was put in with a mega sensor. It's got just over 50 megapixels, but it was quite cumbersome and slow by cameras of its day. This one is 5 frames per second is what they quote. It's probably closer to 4, but stunning level of detail, very good color range. So yeah, just a fabulous camera. This one was a little bit more pricey at $5,200 when it was released. So around about the same time, I was still doing a lot of sports photography, and this was the top of the line in Canon cameras. It had been superseded by then by the next series, but this is the 1DX. And you can also see just between the two of them here, the 1DX is so much bigger and heavier in its body. Now again, this is a full frame camera, but it didn't have the same capacity and sensor. So it's 18.1 megapixels for the sensor. But of course, it was a high-speed sports camera. So that was 12 frames per second. And this was back in 2002. The 5DS was a little later. That was in 2015. So these are again, full frames. So when you put on 100 mil, you are getting a 100 mils of focal length. Then we come to a different type of camera, which is, I guess you could say, my current camera, which is the Hasselblad medium format. Now, the medium format is quite a big sensor. It's more than 70% bigger than a full frame sensor. And it has a unique crop factor because it does shorten your focal length because the sensor is actually so big. So essentially you're getting only 70% of your focal length. So I've got a 90mm lens on this now, but that effectively gives me 71mm compared to a 35mm censored camera. The dynamic range of this camera is far superior again. It's a 100 megapixel sensor, and it does allow quite aggressive cropping. You can crop in camera, you can do all of those sorts of things. Because the sensor is so big, you're still getting very large files to work with. Now, what I didn't touch on with the 1DX, when that camera was released, it was $9,600 just for the body. And the 1DX, you could probably use a range of lenses on that from Canon. The 5DS, when it was released, you were restricted to 4 lenses, and that did improve over time. But because the sensor didn't resolve, because it was so big in that camera, there was only specific lenses you could use. Similarly, with the Hasselblad, there's currently only 4 or 5 lenses that you can use with this camera. And as you see it here with the just a normal 90mm fixed lens, you're looking here at $19,000 for one of these. Probably the one thing about the Blad is that it has a 1 terabyte internal drive. So you actually, even though it does have a slot for putting memory cards into, you don't actually have to use a card. And I don't, and I get more than 4,500 images on that terabyte, and I've never gotten close to filling it up. So then I thought, just for something slightly different, I'd show you my drone. So this is a Mavic Classic 3. It's got a 20 megapixel Hasselblad sensor, 4/3 CMOS sensor. It's capable of shooting 5.1K video. It takes fabulous stills as well. When you fly it, you're actually flying it with its own TV screen. That's where you're watching through, and that's giving you a live view. So that's 20 megapixel sensor in the drone, and that won't be surpassed for a while. There is a new model out there, but the Mavic 3 Classic is a beautiful drone. And then the one thing I can't show you is actually the Osmo Pocket 3, which is my vlogging camera. And this shoots 4K, and it's got a 1-inch CMOS sensor. So it, like the drone, can shoot in D-Log, which means that you're color grading all of your film work. So that's the equipment rundown that I currently use, and essentially it comes down to the Hasselblad and the drone, and very, very occasionally I will find a use for the 5DS. I hope you got something out of that. I've talked for far too long, but I hope it was worthwhile.